Okay, let's do a little thought experiment. No stress, no complicated charts. Just a simple question. What if you bought a single ounce of gold, tucked it away somewhere, and then did, well, absolutely nothing? Today, we're going to find out exactly what that would look like. Yep, that's the only rule here. No trading, no late night market watching, no stressing about the price. You just buy it and you hold it. We're going to take a trip back in time, starting with just 1 year ago and going all the way back a full half-century to see how this quiet, silent asset has really performed. So we're calling this the drawer experiment. Step 1, buy 1 ounce of gold. Step 2, put it in a drawer. Step 3, completely forget it even exists. And step 4, you stumble upon it today. That's it. But before we start time traveling, we need a baseline. What is that ounce of gold worth right now? And here's our anchor point. As of today, in 2025, that single ounce of gold is worth about $4,500. So remember that number, because everything we look at is going to be compared back to this. Ready? Let's get started. First up, we're not going too far back. Let's just make a quick hop back to 2024 to make our first imaginary purchase. So 1 year ago, an ounce of gold would have set you back roughly $2,800. That's our starting investment. You stick that in a drawer, forget about it for just 12 months, and when you open it today, you've made a profit of about $1,700. Not bad for doing, well, literally nothing. Now, to put that into perspective, a $1,700 profit on a $2,800 investment is a return of roughly 60% in a single year. I mean, that's the kind of return that makes you wonder, wait, I was just trying to play it safe? How did I manage to beat almost every other investment out there? A surprisingly huge start for sure. All right, 1 year was interesting, but let's really stretch the timeline. What if that forgotten ounce of gold was bought 10 years ago? Let's head back to 2015. A decade ago, that ounce of gold would have cost you about $1,160, which means today your profit is over $3,000. But the really important number here is the annualized return. That's your average return per year. And for this decade, it's about 14%. Let me tell you, earning an average of 14% a year with zero work or stress, that is an absolutely fantastic long-term return by any measure. Okay, let's double the time again. We're jumping back 20 years to 2005. Now, you're going to want to pay close attention to the numbers here, because a really fascinating little detail is about to pop up. So, back in 2005, your cost was a mere $440. Your total profit today is over $4,000, which is amazing. But look at that annualized return. It's actually dropped a bit to about 12%. And that's the interesting part, right? You held it for twice as long, you made more money in total, but your average yearly return actually went down. So what's going on here? Well, this right here perfectly shows you what gold is all about. The longer you hold it, the more your total profit is going to grow. Of course. But gold isn't about explosive get-rich-quick speed. It's a marathon runner, not a sprinter. It's all about that steady, patient accumulation of value over the long haul. All right, let's keep pushing. We're heading back to the 30-year mark, to 1995, and this is where you can almost feel gold's real purpose starting to shift. 30 years ago, the cost was just $380. The profit is now over $4,000, and the annualized return has settled in at around 10%. See, at this point, it stops feeling like a typical investment and starts feeling more like what it is, a way to preserve value across an entire generation. And now it's time for the final jump, the big one. What happens when our little drawer experiment spans a full 50 years? Let's take it all the way back to 1975. And here we have it. In 1975, one single ounce of gold cost just $160. Today, that very same ounce is worth $4,500. That's a total profit of over $4,300. And what about that 50-year annualized return? It comes in at about 8.5%. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. 8.5% a year over 50 years? That almost sounds low. It feels a bit counterintuitive after all that time, doesn't it? But this is the most crucial takeaway. To get that 8.5% return, think about everything you didn't have to do. You didn't have to lose a single night's sleep over market crashes. You didn't panic sell during a recession. You felt zero emotional stress, and you did absolutely zero work. I mean, think about it. Over those 50 years, the world went through staggering inflation, wars, recessions, financial crises, you name it.
And through it all, it's as if that ounce of gold was just sitting there saying this: I wasn't trying to win, I was just trying not to die. And that just perfectly captures its real job: survival.
So let's just nail this down. This whole experiment shows us that gold is not a get-rich-quick plan. It is not some exciting, high-speed investment that's going to the moon. What gold is a silent survivor. It's a cross-generational store of value. It wasn't designed to make you rich. It was designed to make sure you didn't become poor. Which brings us to our final question. If you had bought that 1 ounce of gold 50 years ago for $160, no, you wouldn't be a billionaire today. But when you look back at the half-century of absolute chaos it silently protected you from, would you regret it? I'll let you be the judge of that. Thanks for joining me on this one.